Hi. Um, I'm feeling much better. The whole package thing was resolved. And someone in a comment mentioned giving some dog tips. So I have compiled a list of little things, about, 20 things that are important and people don't realize or or understand, or they're like, as a dog trainer, my pet peeves. So they're in no order, and they're just the first things that popped into my head. When you get a puppy, you need to touch and handle that puppy, their entire body, especially, this is like everywhere, but especially their ears, their mouth, the inside, their teeth, um, bottom, their butt, their tail, their belly, their feet, especially um, if you plan on this dog going to a groomer. Um, but they should be uh, every day. Do this routinely as you're petting your puppy. Inspect when you look at their paws, look at the paw pads, separate and touch in between the little, they call them toe beans, your paw pads, and do that every day. So when you need to give ear medication, it won't be quite as much of a ordeal. Um, and it'll make things really easier for the vet and the groomer and little kids that touch dogs all over their body. So that is my first tip. Number two, train as early as possible so you prevent problems, because there are some common problems that are difficult to stop once they have started. You can, in private training, you can work as young. I go to people's homes, so the puppy can start at 9 weeks old. They can learn basic training 9 weeks old, and as they age up and you're learning new stuff, it fits together. If you go to a group, usually they have to be 3 months or so in the US where I live, because they have to have their rabies shot, and their rabies vaccination can't be given until 3 months of age. They also will need a Bordetella vaccination anytime you have a dog that is around other dogs. So sometimes you have to ask for that extra. If they're going to a groomer, training class, daycare, they're going to need the Bordetella vaccination along with their usual parvo, distemper vaccinations. Hold on. So, I actually offer what I call pre-puppy training. I go into the home before they brought the puppy home, and we go through the house, and I just point out, okay, here are these cords here. You're going to have to do something, put furniture in front of them, put, like, those noodles for in the swimming pool? Put a slice and put your cords in one of those. You can buy stuff specifically for that. to protect your cords. Um, anything that's on your person where you sweat needs to be in a container that the dog can't get into, or a room that they cannot get into, or they need to be put up. And so we're talking about these things. And some of these things are expensive. Your glasses, your hearing aids, your dentures, underclothes, um, socks and underwear and bras and TV remotes, phones, anything that spends time in your hand, on your feet. If you have some sliders or flip flops, forget it. So everything needs to go up or in, or turn your trash can so the lid so the access is against the wall. Um, Rooms you don't use very much, those doors stay closed because puppies sneak into the rooms that aren't used often to pee in. They sneak off, pee in there, come back, and you don't, because you haven't been paying attention to your puppy properly, is how they do that. And so that's my pre-puppy training. We talk about chewing. We talk about house training. We talk about digging. I mean, everything that you can expect from a puppy that you're bringing into your home. What kind of toys? Things like that. I have not come across any trainers that do pre-puppy training, which is, training the people. That's basically what I do. It's kind of, and I'll tell you in here right now, the reason I train going into the house, it's a lot like, if you've ever seen the show It's Me or the Dog. I go in, I observe, and then see what is needed and train. They get a certificate at the end. There's a difference between, I'm putting more into this than I thought. You train commands, which you can do in a period of 10 minutes. Sit, down, stay, come. But it's the things that are behaviors that owners want to change. Usually it is jumping on people. And that can be difficult to turn around because there usually is a guilty party in that puppy's life or that dog's life who's going like this: jump on me, jump on me. And people don't know that reaching over a dog's head is a no-no and can cause them to jump. Bending over them will cause them to jump right into your face. When you come in the door, be low key. Ignore them at first, and then be low key with your, oh, hi, how was your day? Do not come in the door, oh, I missed you so much, I missed you so much. You're looking for excitement pee. You're looking for hyperactivity, jumping all over you, and so they'll jump all over everybody else. The other difficult behavior is walking nicely on a leash if they are already used to pulling and lunging. If they're already used to that, it's very difficult. You have to put a lot of work into it. And so I go in, I see where the problems are, and incorporate it into learning basic commands. And then And then they have a little final exam, but it's not a pass or fail. It's keep working on these things, but most people pass. It's no big deal. I put more on dogs that are going to be service dogs or therapy dogs. I have higher expectations before they move on. So, that makes sense. I just talked, the next one was jumping and walking on a loose leash. You have to put the time in. Oh, the reason I do private in the house, because if someone came up to me in a class, or even if it's private and it's in somewhere, an environment that's not the home, I'm not going to be able to address your question at all. Because, for example, dogs that are being destructive, I need to be in the home looking around and saying, okay, where is the destruction? Because we want to know, is this boredom, frustration, or separation anxiety? Everyone assumes destruction when you leave is separation anxiety. So I have them put a laptop or tablet or their phone, record for 15 minutes, leave the house. Then I'll look at it and be able to say, he's not anxious, he's bored. We'll do this, this, and this. Don't forget mental exercise. People are often confused. They're like, I'm out there playing fetch with them all day. We go for walks. Some dogs need more mental stimulation than others. Some breeds need more mental stimuli than others. Off the top of my head, if you aren't really wanting to put effort into a dog, if you're not wanting that, then do not get a border collie, an Australian shepherd, a Belgian Malinois, husky, Great Pyrenees. These are dogs that are very independent thinkers, and you need to earn their respect and mutual respect. They need to go out for hikes, sports. They need to do fly ball or agility or tri-ball, frisbee, jumping, see how high they can jump, how far they can jump into a pool, things like that. Go on hikes in the parks and games where, they have to figure out where the treat is and things like that. They thrive on that. And without those things, they will become neurotic and destructive. So now the Great Pyrenees is a little bit different. And the females are different than the males. They're harder to train simply because they are independent. And same as the huskies, they're kind of aloof. And especially the females are more, I guess people use the term stubborn, but it's their temperament that breed has. They just don't feel the need to impress you with anything, and they just get up and walk away from the training. So they're my least favorite dogs to train, huskies and Great Pyrenees. And a trainer can't do anything if you get a dog that needs all this attention and expect it to behave and not do what the dog needs. I did train I had someone who physically could not take the dog for a walk, and it was a Belgian Malinois. And I explained to her, we're not going to be able to address some of these issues because he is not getting any exercise, and it's just not going to happen. I'll do the best I can to get what we can done, but they didn't research your dogs before you get them. And please, no more Labradoodles, no more Golden Doodles. They are so easily over aroused. I walk around like this all the time. I have bruises all over. So, okay, I'm getting off track. I'm just starting to do pet peeves and stuff. Your puppy, when you get a puppy, you need to expose that puppy to any situation you're going to be in, all kinds of places, people, and things, except until they have finished. They're a few weeks after their last puppy shots. Do not put them down on the ground outside your own yard, like at the park. Don't put them down because you don't know. There's probably dog poo there, and you don't know if that person has kept their dog up to date. And parvo will live in the soil for a very long time. So, but you can carry your puppy, and I still walked my puppy, but I live in a small town, not a lot of traffic, and we stayed away from the grass and stayed on the street. But I did wait till she was older, a little bit older. But exposing your dog to different things, well, it helps when they have their natural fear stages. It helps decrease those experiences. Puppies have 2 fear stages and 2 chew stages, and they're different. You don't want, when you pick out a puppy, look at the litter. You have to see the litter. Don't pick out the puppy that's timid way over here, or the puppy that just walks off and ignores everything else. Something in the middle, especially if you're a first-time dog owner. Now, we did adopt a dog that just got up and walked away from its litter mates and its mom and went its own way at 7 weeks. And that's the one we picked, knowing. I knew what I was getting into, though. Let's see. Hiccups are normal. Puppies get the hiccups a lot, and people just don't know that it's normal, and they think there's something wrong with their dog. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I'll have to ask my vet if she knows. But puppies get hiccups all the time. And they're often, especially when it first happens, they're like confused. And it's kind of funny. After a while, they just act like they're kind of annoyed. Like, when is this going to get over? If you have, when they get to a stage where they're pulling on your clothes, or say a towel you have or something like that, and they're trying to play tug with you with your clothes, like your favorite sweater, rather than trying to pull it back or pry the dog's mouth open, you're just going to ruin your clothes, get holes and ruin things. If the dog is of a good size and you can get down there, just raise their torso up some, and they will release. the whatever they have in their mouth that they're tugging on. It doesn't really necessarily work if it's something they have in their mouth. It's when they have like your clothes or a rag and you're trying to get it from them. Just hold on to it and lift their torso up a little bit by their chest, sort of raise it, and they usually will release, and you won't ruin your clothes. And you'll also be able to fight your battles because you're not going to win all of them. Let's see, what else do I have? I have noticed I spend a lot of time just observing dogs, just watching. Um, and so I've learned a lot about cause and effect and um, just observations. I noticed that when I was walking dogs at the animal shelter, it was a long time ago. I noticed that when I would go in one direction, they'd walk nicely, but when we went in the other direction, they would start pulling really hard. And I was like, well, what's different? And so we did it, and I'm trying to feel myself. Is there something different? And I noticed that it was when the wind is blowing in towards them, dogs tend to pull forward, like they're being pulled in to all the scents blowing their way. Have you ever seen? I have the most beautiful picture of our blind dog that we had raising his nose in the air, and it's snowing, and just smelling the air. And I think that's kind of what they're smelling, the wind, and it just somehow pulls them to it. I don't know what you can't do anything with the wind, so you gotta work on how the dog walks on a leash. Okay. If you have a dog that is really high energy, they're not randomly distracted, that's a whole different thing, or easily over aroused, that's something different. I'm just talking about dogs that just don't get wore out with the typical fetch and play. You can take them for a walk or a hike. Get one of those saddlebag things, and put things in it. You can put like the water bottle and the bowl and stuff like that, but put heavy stuff in it, like cans of food, peas and in cans. So there's some weight, and they have to work extra hard, and they also have a job. So dogs like to have a job. Most of our dogs' jobs are to make us happy, but some dogs actually have jobs. But most dogs like to do stuff for us and be a part of what's going on. And so that is one way you can wear that dog out. And then you can do some training since they've gotten some exercise with a little extra. Never reach over a fence to pet a dog. Never reach into a car to pet a dog. Never get down, especially down to a dog's level, and cradle their face and put your face and pull their face to you. You are asking to get bitten on the face, and it'll usually be your lip. You could probably find it on YouTube or something. Someone on a talk show, this dog was there. He'd done some amazing thing, and he was there for an award. And And this other woman was there. I don't know who she was, I forgot. But she got down and took the dog's head and went to, like, I guess give it a kiss or something, or just say, "Oh, what a nice poochie poochie." And he bit her right on TV, right here. And I was just like, that was not smart. But she didn't know. So now you know. And I'm talking about an unknown dog. We take our dogs' heads and kiss them on the head all the time, on their snout. I'm talking about unknown dogs, and especially if they're in an unfamiliar environment. It's not the dog's fault that she got bitten. Okay, I already talked about this, about them being naturally destructive. Keep things out of the way if you want to keep them. Your gaming things that you have in your hands, those two are often targets of destruction. Don't train angry or frustrated. If it's not going well, you're trying to train something and it's not going well, put it off for later, tomorrow, and do something that you both enjoy instead. Because that dog is going to sense your anger and your frustration and not know how to respond to it, because they know you want something from them, but they're not understanding what it is, and now they feel uncomfortable because you're angry, and so they're going to be acting really bizarrely. Because people are this is one of my pet peeves. People yell sit at their dog, like they're blue in the face. I'm like, you can't, that dog's not going to sit until you teach it to sit. Then you can give the command and expect them to sit. It's not information that they're just born with. So stop yelling at them to sit and teach them to sit. Oh, I had this one nightmare case. No matter how many times I said this, do not compare your dog and how fast, how well another dog trained, and why, and your dog isn't. Don't never compare. Every dog is different. Every dog learns in a different way. And if you have a trainer that cannot adjust to a dog and their difference in how they learn, then you don't have a very good trainer. Trainer needs to be able to have different things to try and see what works for that dog. So that's another reason why I don't like to do group training, is because some dogs are just better naturally at learning things and other dogs struggle. And the owners get frustrated because they see these other dogs doing well and theirs isn't. And I don't have time to do private training to 6 to 8 people in one evening of like an hour and a half. So people get left behind. And those are the dogs that end up in the shelter. Or they drop out. Pick your battles. We have a puppy, 8-month-old. She likes to tear apart cardboard. So we let her. Why not? She enjoys it. She's getting something out of it. We know she's not dangerous. She's not eating it. And we clean up the mess afterwards. So some people, when I come in, are expecting a robot, that I'm going to give them a robot. An example is this one woman was upset because her dog kept begging for food and while they were eating, and I said, well, what does he do when he is begging for food? Is he at the table, or or no, he's staying in his place on his bed, but he just sits there and stares at us. And I'm like, this is a dog with a dog's nose with receptors that take in odors and tasty, yummy odors. And I have to sit on this bed because I'm a good boy. And I said, well, is he drooling? I mean, what is, and she just wanted a robot. I train dogs, that's why I go into the home, to be a member of the family. The humans, even the little kids, are leaders. That's what my training sets up. And the dog falls in to placement. It's not an alpha beta kind of thing. Dogs just, and they prefer to have a leader, unless they are the leader dog, and that's a whole different story. What you put into training is what you're going to get out. Every day I go to a house and someone says, I'll be honest with you, we really haven't been able to work with him much this week. Well, then then he's not going to get the training you're paying for. So also, people don't understand, no matter how I explain it, that we have to start somewhere to get somewhere. And with behaviors, it's not going to happen in one session. We have to start at the beginning. The beginning to all dog training, the first thing I teach is watch me, eye contact. So your dog, you can get your dog to pay attention to you in that moment. Watch me. And when you get dog watching you, then you give the next command. But that's why the course is 8 to 10 weeks long, is because the behaviors we have to work on throughout the course. My pet peeve: potty pad training, paper training. I don't mind if it's like an elderly person or a disabled person and that's just how they have to do it. So it is very difficult to train a dog that is used to going potty on a pad to go potty outside. I've done it. It's not easy, and it takes quite a while. You have to move the potty pad inch by inch to the door every day until you get to outside and put it outside so they know to go there. So don't start it unless you plan on doing that. I have had success with the turf things. You can buy a patch of turf. And some dogs seem to prefer that. I prefer it to, you can have it inside, but you can also put it on your deck or something, and so they can have a quick go out there and pee. They have these, I've seen them at airports for service dogs and stuff. Probably, I guess the Belgian Malinois that work at the airport might go in there too. But it's like AstroTurf, and then there's something underneath that absorbs the urine. Usually, like looks like a hospital pad, and I'm a little more okay with that for some reason. It just depends on the situation, but I don't like paper, especially bigger dogs. Um, oh, when you're having trouble house training your dog, and they're going in that back room um, to pee, I dare you. I encourage you to get a little blacklight flashlight from Lowe's. Turn out the light and shine that. The whiter the spots look, the older it is. And even if you clean those up, you may always have some white. But the color is the newer, fresher pee. And you're going to be surprised. You have to use, it's not the smell that makes a dog pee where it pees. It's the urea. And it needs to be broken down by enzymes. So what you're using has to have the words like enzyme or enzymatic cleaner. If it's just for odor, it's not gonna, it's gonna, like urea, a puppy's walking along a room and they smell a spot, another dog has gone in or they have gone in, and basically that urea says, pee here now. So, you can get big bottles of them, of like Nature's Miracle, and put it in, no, I'm not sponsored by anything, put it in a carpet cleaner to get the whole carpet and start fresh. That's usually what I recommend. And then spot clean and read the instructions and use it, because the urine goes straight down your carpet to the carpet pad and then it spreads out. Because that's why you have to spray it, not just where the wet is, but all around. And if you do it right, it'll work. It'll do the job. My last one. Dogs never bark for no reason. And I'll give you two examples, and I have said it in the past before it happened. I don't know what he's barking. He's barking at nothing. There's nothing out there. Look, I don't see anything. That dog's not, either something internally or something externally is causing the dog to bark. It's never for no reason. And one example is I lived in a house that was a little bit further into farm area, and so we were surrounded by some woods and fields and stuff, and one of our dogs was standing at a a door with a window, and was barking, and I'm looking, I'm like, Gretchen, there's nothing there. And she's barking and barking. And so I let her out, and she made a beeline for our property line. And then I saw the coyote that was in our yard. It was so camouflaged, I didn't see it, but she knew it was there, and she chased it. And we had chickens and cats and stuff. So, and here's story number 2. I had a client who I had told her about the barking because she had a mini dachshund. And I said, we don't want to get rid of the barking altogether. So one day he was barking and barking. She's yelling from another room, be quiet, be quiet. But then she started to notice something was different about the bark. And then she finally gave in and went in to see. And he was barking at an electrical cord that was like glowing orange, about to catch on fire. And so this little mini dachshund, she texts me still. She's like, oh my God, he just saved your life. So thank you for telling me that. If your dog's barking, there's a reason. They see something, they smell something, they sense something. So they're excited, or, Okay, so I've run on long enough. And those are some of my dog training tips, stories, pet peeves. Dogs, I have autism, and dogs are probably my top special interests. So I could talk to you for hours about every dog that's come across my life. So I better stop here. And it's nice to have been able to do a video where I feel like I'm more animated and talking faster, because this is my specialty. So, all right, bye.